Hey there, this is the FiM guy, and welcome back to the MLP Vlogs. We're up to episode 10 in this series, and this time we got a Rainbow Dash focused episode. And what's the episode name? Rainbow Falls. So, the episode begins with Rainbow Dash teaching Fluttershy and Bulk Biceps. Yeah, remember that white pony Pegasus that had the little wings on the back of it and had the cutie mark with the biceps or dumbbells or whatever they are? Yeah, he's got a voice now. Anyways, they're practicing for a competition to qualify for the Equestria Games, which luckily these writers haven't been stopping from that arc, because it was so on the develop from Season 3 that I completely forgot that episode, Games Ponies Play. But with Rainbow Falls, they head up to what looks like a mountainside of Cloudsdale. I really honestly don't know the location, what this is. It's like, okay, you know the little Elements of Harmony book that contains up to about the 3rd season? The one thing I wish is that they actually updated the book more often. Like, waiting until, like, the show's ending season. Just don't wait until, like, the middle of July just to make that book. So now my book's completely outdated. With that said, the team practices along with the Wonderbolts. Of course, you know, Spitfire, and of course Soren, which, again, I love Matt Hill's voice. Who honestly does not love Matt Hill, who's like this, who in the first season was just developed as like this pieatic Pegasus for the Wonderbolts, and suddenly has a character in the show. With that said, the Soren unfortunately winds up getting in a mishap, which basically causes his wing to get damaged. And so basically what happens is that Spitfire, along with another person whom I can't seem to remember her name, gets Rainbow Dash to practice with them. But of course, with the whole situation, they basically have to swap between two teams. Rainbow Dash has to basically go from Wonderbolts to basically her team. And just in between the moments with Rainbow Dash and just with Mr. Biceps and Fluttershy, they're just so hilarious. It's almost like I'm looking at, like, the huge, muscled version of Mr. Bean, where he's just, like, I mean, at times where he can just be, like, quiet and curious about himself, and then other times he could just be, like, hilarious at times. Yeah, and what happens during is that, actually, Twilight literally finds out about this, and well, the thing is, Rainbow Dash has been keeping the whole switching back and forth between the teams a secret. But, of course, how Twilight is, she finds out about this and tells Rainbow Dash to make a decision. Cuts to a break. Next thing you know, after the break, Rainbow Dash fakes an injury, basically covering up her rings, her hooves, and a few in her face in bandages, which hopefully gets them out of, which can make sure that she gets away with it. Now, as soon as I saw that, and as soon as it transitions to the hospital, I was almost like, okay, this is almost going to feel like Read It and Weep. They're going to obviously they're obviously going to copy that scene where basically the doctors come in and tell her that she has what was it, lazyitis, that's it. That she had lazyitis, or whatever it is, and Read It and Weep. But luckily they didn't pull it off in this episode. Anyways, they wind up in the hospital, and the next thing you know, the Soren actually talks to them. Well, actually, more of Rainbow Dash. Actually, pause back for a few seconds. Fluttershy and... Shoot! I keep forgetting his full name. Anyways, both Fluttershy and... let's just call him Mr. Biceps. Wind up getting a substitute, which of course is Derpy Hooves. Which, as you know from this fandom, is one of the most popular characters on here outside of Princess Luna. Anyways, I do have to admit, it was good seeing Derpy Hooves, but sometime in the future, who knows? Maybe sometime in a future edit, they could wind up probably cutting the, derp dies, because obviously this fandom knows the controversy of what happened to Derpy in the last roundup. First time it aired, it was the fans just like chilling on. The next thing you know, next thing you know, the thing comes edited, they don't say Derpy's name, and she's underped, and her voice is changed to a dumb blonde's voice. Which, I'm glad that I'm seeing this for the first time, that they didn't give Derpy a voice, because I didn't want to hear that stupid blonde voice, because that was so stupid. Anyways, they leave as Soren actually does talk to Rainbow Dash. That gives her an inspiration, but of course she can't make a decision on her own, as of course what happens, a light shines through a pitcher of water. I'm serious, a pitcher of water that shines straight down onto a flag which Derpy was holding, and the next thing you know, she gets the whole rainbow eyes thing that is sort of the exact same thing that happened in Rarity Takes Manhattan. Now, this could be a theory, and I think Dr. Wolf has brought this up, is that with these possible things, they could be the keys to that box from the season premiere. I don't know, it's what I'm thinking, is that these are the keys, and it could lead to who knows what could be in that box. With that said, Rainbow Dash winds up coming out alive, basically taking off her bandages. Obviously she ain't injured or anything, as she decides to join the team, of course with Fluttershy and Biceps, and not the Wonderbolts. And we found out that actually Soren was okay, and Spitfire had made a lie, saying that he could not recover in time for the qualifications. Then what happens next is that obviously Cloudsdale gets qualified, and of course Ponyville gets qualified as well. And of course in the end the Rainbow Dash team gets like gold medals, and of course Spitfire winds up giving the little gold medal from Wonderbolt Academy that she had onto Rainbow Dash, as of course she writes in the journal on what has happened, on what she learned. I do have to admit, the lesson did work out pretty well for me, and especially just how it all is turned out. And of course we get that little shimmering rainbow, much like the ending to Rarity Takes Manhattan. And again, I want to know what's inside that gosh darn box! But we have to wait until either the end or the middle of Season 4 to figure out what's in that box. But with that said, Rainbow Falls. good episode. Definitely had a lot of great fun with the characters. Good comeback for Derpy Who's, because at least she's like the silent version of Mr. Bean, unlike Mr. Biceps. And speaking of Biceps, I love this character, especially just the lines he has. I mean, outside, more of the lines he just has is, yeah! But with him, he's like, just whatever he says is just hilarious, especially when he's trying to do the cheer, especially when he's like, "Prayers for Rainbow Dash!" And then the Fluttershy comes in and it's like, R's that, Rainbow Dash starts with an R. But I think the funniest moment with Fluttershy and Biceps is just basically when they're trying to pass the little gold ring to each other, and Fluttershy accidentally punches Biceps in the face. He's like, it just basically goes flying off. I mean, I love this character. It's probably the most fun I ever. It's probably the most funniest character I've ever seen in my life, and probably sometime in the future I probably would do a voice reel of it in the future, probably after season 4 or something. But that's it. Rainbow Falls. The episode, for me, gets automatically a 9 out of 10. So basically, join me next week as we get into the 11th episode, which of course is a week from, which is obviously 6 days and 23 hours from now. And with that said, keep yourself entertained for this week, and here's to expect more videos on my channel in the future. So, I'm the Frog Guy, and I'll see you guys next week.